Have you ever wondered if someone crossed your path for a reason? Not just in love, but also in friendship, business, mentorship, or even those random encounters that feel anything but random. It's like they show up exactly when you need them most, almost as if the universe had a hand in it. But how do you know if that person is meant to be part of your life's journey or just passing through? Today, we're going to explore exactly why certain people enter your life at the perfect moment, and how to tell if they're truly aligned with your purpose. The answer starts much closer to home than you might think. Carl Jung, one of the greatest minds in psychology, didn't believe in random chance. To him, the people who enter your life aren't accidents. They're reflections of something happening deep within you, even if you're not fully aware of it yet. He called this phenomenon synchronicity, those uncanny moments when the internal and external worlds align so perfectly that it feels almost magical. Have you ever thought about someone you hadn't seen in years, and suddenly they call you the next day? Or met a stranger who seemed to understand you better than people you've known forever? Jung believed these aren't coincidences. They're messages from the unconscious mind, nudging you toward the people and experiences that will shape your growth. Most of us think we're making choices based on logic and reason, but beneath it all, the unconscious is guiding us toward exactly what we need, whether it's healing, a challenge to overcome, or a connection that will help us become who we're meant to be. So, the real question isn't, why did this person show up? It's, what part of me called them into my life? How do you know if a connection is real or just an illusion created by unmet needs? Jung believed that every relationship acts as a mirror, reflecting the parts of yourself you're either embracing or avoiding. If you find yourself constantly shrinking, hiding pieces of who you are, or molding yourself to meet someone else's expectations, that's not a real connection. That's survival mode disguised as love or friendship. With the right person, whether it's a friend, mentor, or life partner, there's no ongoing battle between who you are and who you feel you have to be. You don't negotiate your values just to stay close. You feel seen, accepted, flaws and all. Most importantly, you feel free to keep growing into your most authentic self. Jung called this individuation the journey of becoming whole, of peeling away the masks society tells you to wear and embracing your truest self. When you're on this path, you naturally begin to attract people who resonate with your truth. Not because they magically appear, but because you finally have the clarity to recognize them and the courage to release those who no longer belong. Think about it. How often have you held on to relationships that drained you, where love felt like a transaction, and being yourself was never quite enough? Real connection doesn't demand that you betray your essence. It invites you to become more of who you already are. Jung believed your unconscious mind is always working toward balance. When you ignore its messages, those signals don't disappear, they get louder. At first, it's subtle. You might feel restless or uneasy around certain people, but left unchecked, that inner tension seeps into every part of your life. You feel drained after spending time with certain people, like your energy has been quietly stolen. You wake up tired, no matter how much you sleep. Anxiety creeps in. Sometimes, it even manifests physically: headaches, chest tightness, unexplained stomach pains. These aren't random symptoms. They're your mind and body waving red flags, telling you something is off. You're out of alignment with the relationships you're holding on to. Your most meaningful connections will never leave you feeling empty. With the right people, you'll experience quiet peace and a sense of ease. You'll breathe deeper, sleep better, and feel lighter. Your nervous system doesn't lie. We live in a world that teaches us to fear being alone. It whispers that solitude is failure, that if you're not constantly surrounded by people, something must be wrong with you. But what if that's the biggest lie you've ever believed? Jung taught that solitude isn't punishment, it's sacred space. A place where you finally stop chasing, stop performing, and start hearing the voice you've drowned out for so long, your own. Ask yourself honestly, when was the last time you sat in silence without reaching for a distraction? Can you spend time with yourself and enjoy it? Are you looking for someone to love you, or someone to rescue you from the parts of yourself you're afraid to face. Here's the truth most people don't want to admit. Until you learn to feel whole on your own, every relationship you enter will be built on need, not love. You'll keep trying to fill empty spaces with someone else's presence, and no matter how close they get, it will never be enough. But when you embrace solitude, something incredible happens. You stop searching for someone to complete you and start becoming the version of yourself you were always meant to be. The kind of person who doesn't need love to feel worthy, but who is fully open to receiving it when it comes. Before you ask, when will the right one show up? Ask yourself this first. Am I the kind of person I'd want to meet? Because the moment you become that version of yourself, the one who knows peace, who walks through life whole and unapologetically authentic, that's when the right people will find their way to you. Have you ever found yourself in a relationship where no matter how much you gave, it never felt like enough? Jung would tell you this isn't about them, it's about you. It's the unconscious mind projecting hidden beliefs onto the people around you. When there are parts of yourself you haven't fully accepted, your fears, insecurities, and feelings of unworthiness, those emotions don't disappear. They show up in your relationships. You start attracting people who reflect the very doubts you're holding deep inside. If you believe deep down that you're not good enough, you'll unconsciously draw in people who confirm that belief. Not because they're bad people, but because your unconscious mind is always seeking to prove what it already believes to be true. Have you felt overlooked while secretly struggling to see your worth? Felt abandoned while emotionally abandoning yourself time and again? Blamed others for not loving you enough while withholding that love from yourself? These patterns aren't here to punish you, they're here to wake you up. The moment you recognize the projection, you take back your power. Healing doesn't start when someone else finally sees your worth. It starts when you do. Picture this. You're standing in front of two doors. One is familiar and worn. Behind it lies everything you've known: comfort, predictability, and yes, the same pain, the same disappointments, and the same unfulfilling patterns. The other door is untouched, unknown. Behind it, uncertainty, change, and the terrifying possibility that life could be different. Most people choose the familiar door. Why? Because even if it hurts, even if it keeps them trapped, at least they know what's behind it. The unknown is scarier than any pain they've learned to live with. Jung believed this is the great human tragedy. We'd rather suffer the familiar than risk the discomfort of transformation. But every time you choose the old door, you're not just choosing the past. You're rejecting your future. If you're brave enough to reach for that new door, something changes. Yes, it's terrifying at first, but beyond that door is freedom. A life filled with authentic connections, peace, and love that doesn't demand you lose yourself to keep it. The question is, are you willing to endure temporary discomfort for the chance at lasting joy? How many times have you ignored that quiet feeling that something just wasn't right? That tightness in your chest, that subtle anxiety, that uneasy pause. Yet you stayed, telling yourself it was just a phase, that you were being too sensitive. Here's the truth. Your mind may rationalize a relationship, but your body and intuition never lie. Jung believed intuition is the language of the unconscious, the whisper from your deepest self, trying to guide you long before your conscious mind catches up. When you're with someone truly right for you, that voice doesn't scream warnings. It hums with calm. You don't walk on eggshells or constantly wonder where you stand. No exhausting mental gymnastics are required to try to decipher mixed signals. Instead, you feel peace. Real connection feels like home, not a battlefield. We romanticize intensity, the dramatic highs and crushing lows. But true love, healthy, enduring love, doesn't demand that you suffer for it. It doesn't make you question your worth every day. When you're with the right person, there's ease. There's space to breathe, to be fully yourself without fear. There's quiet, knowing that you're safe, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually. Your intuition has told you this over and over again. The question is, are you finally ready to listen? Here's one truth we all need to face. You cannot attract what you aren't ready to hold. So many people search for love, hoping someone will make them feel whole. But until you heal the parts that feel unworthy, until you stop looking for someone to fill unattended voids, every relationship will reflect your unfinished business. Jung believed we don't meet others by accident. We meet them when we're ready to see the lessons they bring and the truths they reveal about our inner world. That's why healing isn't something you do after you find love. It's what you must do before, so when love arrives, you can recognize it. When you become your most authentic self, when you stop apologizing for who you are, and when you embrace every scar and flaw, something shifts. You don't chase love anymore. You don't beg for attention or settle for less. You become love. From that place, the right person doesn't complete you, they simply come home to you. Because now you're living as who you were always meant to be, whole, at peace, and open to receiving not from desperation, but from quiet confidence and deep self-worth. So ask yourself, am I waiting for someone to save me, or am I becoming the person who no longer needs saving? When you come home to yourself, that's when love walks through the door effortlessly. If these words found their way to you today, maybe it's not by accident. Maybe it's a quiet reminder that before you search for the right person, you must first become the right person for yourself. Are you still waiting for someone to make you feel whole, or are you ready to stand tall in your light, knowing you are already enough? That's where it all begins.